Hola mi gente, NinjaPicante here, and welcome back to another recipe video. First things first, we're doing something a little different this week, and I won't be bringing you guys a book recommendation. Instead, I'll be talking about what I consider to be the first great new show of 2020, the Netflix original series, Gentefied. Having premiered on February 21st, 2020, Gentefied is an American comedy drama series created by Marvin Lemus and Linda Yvette Chavez. Gentefied tells the story of three cousins, Eric, Anna, and Chris Morales, played respectively by JJ Soria, Carrie Martin, and Carlos Santos. The show navigates their lives as they work through personal and professional obstacles, all while trying to help their grandfather, Casimiro Pop Morales, played by Joaquin Cosio, keep the family restaurant Mama Fina's afloat as they battle the gentrification of their neighborhood. This show has incredibly funny and incredibly sad moments at the same time, as well as some of the most complex and well-written characters I can think of in recent memory. To me, a particularly standout example of this is episode 6, Sueños de Mariachi. Here, they take what has been, up until this point, a side character used mostly for comedic relief in Javier, and decide to focus the entire episode on him and his struggles, being an incredibly talented musician whose art is not being appreciated in the rapidly changing culture of his neighborhood. There's one scene in particular of this episode which moved me to tears personally, where Javier is forced to face the dilemma of staying true to his art and culture or modifying it to be accepted into mainstream white America. It was a very moving and relatable scene to me because, being the child of immigrants, I know what it is like to have to tone down or alter certain aspects of your culture and art to make the mainstream feel more comfortable around you and accept you. Not so much because you want to be accepted, but really more out of a need of survival. It's an incredibly powerful episode, and one that even if you can't relate to personally, I feel like you should still watch just to open up your horizons. Additionally, I love how most every character on this show is flawed in some way, shape, or form. There are points during the show where pretty much every character does something that you will really like, and then there will be other points where they do something that you absolutely hate. This is something in particular that I applauded because I've come to notice that whenever Hollywood tries to portray us in film or TV, they always fall into the trap of making the perfect immigrant or minority character, where there are no flaws and they are just noble and perfect. Something that is just not relatable. No human being is perfect, and the fact that this show acknowledges that and presents it as such is really refreshing to me. Aside from the grandfather Casimiro, who in my opinion should be in the running for greatest TV grandpa ever presented. Overall, an incredibly funny, well-written show that I encourage everyone to check out. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and share. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you're watching on Netflix or something you want me to eat next. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my new videos. And give me a follow at NinjaPicante on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Links are in the description below. Ahora, vamos a darle. So, in honor of the release of Gentefied, and as you've probably already read from the title, today I'll be showing you guys how I make tacos de adobada. Now, as I prepare these tacos, I know a number of you might say,
"But Ninja, that's not how my mom makes tacos de adobada."
And I'm sure it isn't. This is my recipe and how I like to make them. This ain't your mama's recipe.
Con todo respeto, señora.
So without further ado, let's get in the car, head to the grocery store, and pick up our ingredients. So I wasn't able to find any chile morita at either one of the 2 grocery stores I went to, so we're gonna have to improvise a little bit. Here we have 3 chiles guajillos, 3 chiles anchos, and 2 chiles puya. So the first step is gonna be to devein and deseed all of these chiles. Just like that. And don't worry too much if the chiles break up on you. It's okay because these are just going to be turned into a paste. And now we're just going to add these chiles to a pot of water, which I had brought to a roiling boil. And we're just going to let these steep in the water off the heat for about 30 minutes. Now, in addition to the chiles, we're going to need a few other spices. So I have here about 8 black peppercorns, 4 cloves, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of dried oregano, a teaspoon of thyme, and 2 garlic cloves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend the dry spices together until they form a fine powder, and then to that we will add our chiles, the garlic, and I'm gonna do maybe a 1/4 cup of the water that the chiles was steeped in. Actually, probably a little less because I want this to be closer to a paste, but it's okay if it'll be a little bit of a runny paste. And here we have what will be our adobada. So I have all the chiles in here and the spices. I have also added about 1/8 cup of white vinegar and about 1/8 cup of the water that the chiles were steeped in, plus the 2 garlic cloves. Now to blend. And voila. Now I have 2 pounds of pork sirloin roast right here, which I've diced up into slightly smaller than bite-sized pieces, to which we will add our marinade, making sure we get as much out of it as we can. Get every little bit. And now we'll just mix it all together. Now I'm just gonna wrap this up, put it in the fridge, and let it marinate overnight. So next time I'll see you, we'll be making tacos. Well, good morning. Actually, it's closer to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we left our meat marinating overnight in the fridge, and this is what it looks like now. As you can see, it has a really nice color and it smells fantastic. So now we're just gonna sear some up in a pan and dish up our tacos. So I've got a nice hot skillet going, and I'm just gonna do the meat in small batches because I want them to get a nice sear. So I've just got this going on medium hot, and this will cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. You want your pork to be well done. Okay, so it's actually only been about 6 minutes, and I think this is done. I had my heat up a little high, so I turned it down. But I'm just gonna take this out of the pan, add in a second batch, and then probably a third, and then that should be enough. And now we'll just heat up some tortillas. All right, are you guys ready? Here we have our tacos.
Wow.
I am so impressed with myself. These look super good, and I just dressed them up really traditionally. We have the pork sirloin, which we marinated overnight in the adobo, with some fresh cilantro sprinkled on top, a little chopped onion, una salsa verde hecha en casa, and of course some limones to squeeze on top. All right, I'm ready to get into this. So just squeeze some limon on the taco. Look how tasty and fresh that looks. All right, here we go. First bite. Provecho. The flavor of the adobo has permeated throughout the meat, so you can really taste it. All the rest of the ingredients are super fresh and super delicious. This is probably really a 3-biter, but I'm gonna do it in 2. Gonna go in for a second taco now. This is just too good. If you're someone who doesn't handle heat well, I would still say try this recipe at home because the marinade or adobo itself isn't actually that spicy. It just imparts a really nice smoky flavor and gives the meat a really nice color. Just go light on the salsa verde and I'm sure you'll enjoy this immensely. I really love these tacos.
Sup, boo? Wanna get married?
A few quick notes on some things I do a little differently next time. Yesterday, I was in a bit of a rush to get the adobo done, so I just put the chiles to steep immediately after I took the water off the heat, toasting them a little bit on the comal first, just to really bring out that smoky flavor. As well as the garlic cloves, toast those a little bit too before you add them to the blender. Also, I'm fairly sure I didn't add any salt to the adobo yesterday, and after tasting the first batch of meat I seared today, I felt it needed a little, so I added some. However, if you add it in with the paste, that's one less thing you have to do later. But it was still delicious. The meat was super tender from the marinade, and it tasted just like something you'd get at your local taqueria. Now it's rating time. I'll go ahead and give these tacos de adobada a 4.5 out of 5 picantes. Thank you guys for coming along with me today. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and share. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you're watching on Netflix, what you thought of Gentefied, or something you want me to eat next. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my new videos. And give me a follow at NinjaPicante on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Links are in the description below. Gracias por sintonizarme. I'm gonna finish these amazing tacos. Y nos vemos pronto con más Picante.
You're a baby mama for sure.